So I've made a lot of Calamity lore videos, so why don't I start backing them up with a source? So there's four main lore sources. There's the boss lore pieces, the bestiary, talking to Drayden, and the developer comments. And they all have their own distinct pros and cons. Like, starting with the lore pieces, they're very easily accessible by killing bosses, so this is the lore that most people are just gonna stumble upon. It is written from the perspective of Yaram, who is the ultimate final boss who hasn't been added yet, and he has great knowledge on his war, the gods, and the dragons, and generally history as a whole. However, he does have a very big anti-god bias and can occasionally leave out details, like the fact that he leaves out the fact that he told Calamitous to go kill Permafrost. He doesn't bring that up. However, it's definitely the largest source of info we have, but it is written from the perspective of a guy who is just trying to get you to go down the path of what he wished he could have been, which is a good person who, also kills gods. Now, the bestiary is interesting because it has an entry for every Calamity enemy, and while most of it is world building, a lot of, especially the boss ones, are very useful. And the biggest upside is it's written from a purely objective standpoint. You can take it at face value. This is not written from anyone's point of view. It's just going to be true. However, it doesn't rewrite vanilla enemy entries, but it still gives a lot of information. Very useful. Like, this is literally how we know that Yaram sent Calamitous to go kill Permafrost. This is how we know that. The newest lore edition is talking to Drayden directly, which is a huge amount of lore, second to pretty much only the lore pieces themselves. He gives a lot of lore, and he has specific dates and everything. He does, have biases, but not really as bad as Yaram. He's not trying to convince you of anything. While Yaram is more for history, Drayden is more for science, and he is willing to tell you about the state of the world, because he has done a lot of research on these kinds of things and is willing to share his information with you. Now, another kind of weirder point is developer comments, where occasionally the lore writers answer questions in Discord. And I need to clarify, nothing new is really revealed here. It's mostly used for clarifying smaller details. Once in a while you can get extra lore early, like I think we got a few of the Drayden talking lore points like a little bit before it was announced, but generally not though. And this is where I like to go if I'm looking into a more niche topic like the Ore Dragons or something. Now, an honorable mention is NPC dialogue, because it doesn't really tell us much. It can tell us how certain characters feel about each other. Like, it tells us how people react to, Supreme Calamitous rolling into town, and how Supreme Calamitous, feels about rolling into town. However, Amadeus has like a help option, and he can give some interesting information. Listening to him, he really doesn't know that much about what Yaram did. Like, he doesn't know what happened to Azapure, he doesn't know what happened to Permafrost, and it kind of shows how much Yaram covered up, except for the stuff, and decided to tell you anyway. However, he does explain the concept of auric attunement, which is only found in one dialogue that he gives post-Yaran, where he explains that, basically, in order to work with auric ore, you need to be attuned with a dragon, or use a soul for a mock attunement, and because that's what you do, your auric armor is not going to be as good as Yaram's. So yeah, sub or leave a comment or something.